The Power Moms Network, empowering moms to lift the world. Hello, and welcome to episode 2 of Power Moms. I'm your host, producer Jaime, founder of the Power Moms Network, and today I'm going to explore having bravery when facing a major fork in the road with today's Power Mom, Michelle Brandriss from Name Bubbles. This episode is brought to you by my podcast production house and consultancy firm, Flintstone Media. Listen in and let me introduce you to today's Power Mom, Michelle Brandriss, but first, I want to share a little something from my grab bag. So this is the first edition of producer Jemmy's grab bag. And on the first episode in this spot, I shared a message I recently shared on YouTube about Power Moms. And I thought I should call that segment something. Quick Power Moms Network Update or something like that. And I thought, well, why stop there? I have so many different ideas for different segments to bring into the show. I look at the Power Moms podcast, being the flagship show of the network, as kind of like a sandbox to test out things, try out things, and just have a really good time, have fun. So in this space that I'm going to be calling producer Jemmy's grab bag, it could be a quick Power Moms Network update, or it could be a Power Mom from history, or I could talk about a sitcom Power Mom, or power positioning, or who knows what else I'll come up with. So today, let's start with a quick Power Moms Network update for our grab bag. On the PowerMomsNetwork.com, you can now read my Power Moms story and my Power Moms mission, or if you don't feel like reading, you can just watch a quick introductory video message from me, which really sums it all up quite nicely. So that's right there embedded on the page for you. And it's actually embedded from our YouTube channel. So speaking of YouTube, our Facebook page, and our Instagram account are all set up and running with some great stuff already up there for you to check out at Power Moms Unite. That's how you can look them up. Power Moms Unite on all 3 of those platforms. And in fact, I went to a really cool pitch event last week for one of my clients, the Levan Center of Innovation. And as a Power Mom, I took my kid because I wanted him to see it all himself. These were budding entrepreneurs who were pitching their companies to angel investors. It was really, really cool. And Levan Center also has some pretty cool robots. So I took my son because he's into robots and I'm into entrepreneurship, and so is he, really. To be quite honest, he's a chip off the old block. So I brought him with me, and you can see a couple of videos that I posted up right now on our social media. I've also been having just amazing conversations with other awesome fellow Power Moms who are excited to be getting involved in some key roles. And I'm excited to eventually be able to start announcing some of the people who are going to be involved in leading this community here with me. So if you want to have a leadership role in our Power Moms community, just head to PowerMomsNetwork.com, check out our community kit, and fill out the form so you can be in touch and we can get on a call too. It's going to be, man, when I just think about the vision that I have for this community, I am so beyond jazzed. But oh my gosh, I could just go on and on. So instead, let me bring this around to my conversation for you today. So, well, first, I want to remind you of where I was when I recorded this conversation. So as a reminder, I was at a Mom 2.0 conference in Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm a big believer in going to conferences for all kinds of reasons, but one of them is that you can record great interviews there. So I recorded my first 5 interviews for this show there, and in the midst of all the incredible Power Mom energy. So you'll hear the atmosphere behind us as we talk, and you'll feel the buzz, I hope, because it was just an incredible, incredible energy. So today, because it was just an incredible, incredible energy. And today, the conversation that I'm sharing is with Michelle Brandriss. I've mentioned her name like 3 or 4 times already. And she's from Name Bubbles, who similarly from Carly from episode 1, Carly Cossey from Jen and Carrie, Michelle also created something that she couldn't find when she was looking for a solution for herself. So please be inspired to have bravery when you're facing your own major fork in the road. Enjoy my conversation right now with Michelle Brandriss from Name Bubbles. All right, guys. Well, I'm still at the Mom 2.0 Summit. I'm meeting Power Mom after Power Mom after Power Mom. And this one's last name might be my favorite because I'm all about branding, and your last name is Brandriss. This is amazing. So, Michelle, thank you so much for joining me today. Tell us about Name Bubbles.
Well, hi. Thanks for having me on. So, Name Bubbles started about 15 years ago. It's been a journey. And I was in advertising. My son was 18 months old. I was taking him to daycare. And, of course, it started off with the masking tape and marking with Sharpie markers. And then I ordered labels from other companies. And I noticed that there was a company in Australia and then one in Canada. And I just started thinking about it. Like, you start noodling things. You're like, okay, well, this is really neat.
It's the superpower that we have as moms.
And I always wanted his name on everything. So everything was embroidered, and I'd make sure his name was on everything that would go out the door.
Sounds to me like branding. I love it.
Yes. And, by law in the state of New York where I live, everything had to be labeled that went to daycare. So obviously it's a need. And I was like, well, there's a need here, and it can't just be the state of New York. Talked to my husband a great deal about this, and I'm like, I really want to do this. I want to be my own boss. And, but lots of pushback. And then that one day, my son was really sick. 100, I want to say it was 102. It was at least 101.
About how old was he?
18 months.
Okay.
And he's laying on my husband's chest, and I'm flying out on Sunday for...
Oh, so let me guess. You're already predicting the mom guilt.
Oh my gosh. Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
And I'm flying out and I'm leaving, and I look in the window and he's asleep on my husband's chest. And I just thought, like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
It took a long time for me to have him, and I felt so lucky I was able to have him.
Yes.
So, I think I cried, of course, just going, I'm not doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So about 2 months later, I quit my job and then just started testing, started looking at the different materials out there, and then started the website. So it really was that wanting to be my own business owner, and wanting to, I guess, create my own destiny and start the journey. And I really love the Name Bubbles brand and the name labels and the team that we've created. So I have an awesome group at home. I call it the Bubble Factory. So that, it's kind of fun. There's about 21 of us there, and we just love, it's funny because I put hearts on all of our printers, and I tell the team, I'm like, every name bubble that is made with love, for the child. So it's like, this printer is with these name bubbles that are pouring out, and the parents get to go online. We have lots of different styles, and they just choose whatever they want, and we make them and ship them directly to the families. So I haven't really gotten to this part, but name bubbles, they're dishwasher safe and laundry safe.
Yes.
So they're great for...
Which is mind-blowing. Well, yeah, very impressive.
It helps avoid lost items or germy mix-ups at daycare. So I just always tell parents, it's like, time is also expensive, and having to go and replace things and
over and over again.
Child likes, if it's their favorite sweater or whatever it might be. So name bubbles are really just premium labels. They're like at the higher end. They're made to last. They last for years, but they do save time and money because they keep things coming home and keep things out of the lost and found. Yes.
So one thing I want to touch on with you, because I love your story, and I have a similar story. I was working in corporate America for a great many years, and I really wanted to become independent. And similarly, my son was about 18 months when I started my business. So it was very parallel type of journeys. But one thing that I want to encourage and impress upon any other mom who's listening right now.
Yes.
You can take your experience, whether in or out of the home, whether at the office, in the boardroom, in wherever you get your experience from, and you can turn those skills into whatever you want it to be. So if you can say a quick word on your prior corporate experience and how that helped build your business.
Yes. So I actually had worked for several .com companies, and this is scary because they both went under.
Yes.
They fell apart.
Not because of you.
No. So I was not one of the leaders. No. But you watch the implosion, and it's scary. And then I went into advertising, and I did like advertising. It was fun. It was interesting. You learned a lot, but there's something to be said about being flexible, especially when you have a baby or a child.
Yes.
And
And that child has
yes.
102 fever.
Yes, exactly. So, and I don't mind working those late nights, especially when you know it's this is like my second child. So when it's your family's brand and your product and you want to make the best thing out there. So I don't mind those late nights, but I also, the flexibility of being there when there's a Halloween parade at school, or being able to volunteer in a classroom, it makes a huge difference. So I think for moms out there that are wanting to do this, it is hard. Mm-hmm. It is hard. But I think that the rewarding side of flexibility and being able to live your life as you want to
100%.
It's everything.
You can't replace it.
No.
You can't replace it. So, I feel the same way. There are times when I question, I'm like, why did I do this? I started my business and my kid at like the same time. Yeah. What was I thinking? But then that day, a couple weeks ago, when I was able to find out at 8 o'clock in the morning that my son had field day starting at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I changed everything because I asked my boss, who is me, and she said, yes, you can go. Yes. Having that flexibility is everything. It makes the roller coaster so worth it.
It is. And then at the end of the day, you've made these memories, not just with your business and your work, but also with your family.
100%. 100%. Okay, one more time. Where's the website?
The website is namebubbles.com, and we are labels for everyday life.
Wonderful. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
So talk about a power pivot, huh? Her son was sick, had a fever, and she had a business trip, and it all hit her like a ton of bricks. We've all had that decision face us at least once. And sometimes we arrive at many forks in the road along the way, and we feel that push-pull like Michelle did between two different paths. And it is not easy. And sometimes that moment, though, is just what we need to really feel pushed down a power mom path. So I had a moment like that too. Many of them, many of those moments. But the first time that I had a moment like that was actually the first time that I was leaving my son Jordan with my parents so I could go to work. Now, he was only a few weeks old. I didn't live with my folks, so I had to drive over there, drop him off with all his stuff, and leave him there in a fairly unfamiliar environment. Oh my goodness. But I had to go even when he was only a few weeks old, because at the time what I was working in was a contract position, and I didn't have paid leave or anything. So I couldn't stay away from work very long at all. I had to go back even though I just had a baby. Yay, America. Anyway. Oh God. All right. Ugh. But that day, it pushed me to really, really absorb how freaking unfair that situation was. And fair and unhealthy, by the way, for both me and my son. It was unhealthy mentally and emotionally. I mean, holy crap. I was a blubbering, crazy person. I'm surprised I didn't cause a car accident while I was driving, because I was driving through just cascades of tears. Like, it was not easy. And it wasn't easy for my son either. I can only imagine, because I wasn't there. Yes, I'm bitter. It was really, really unhealthy for both of us, mentally and emotionally, but also physically, because it made it so much harder and then eventually impossible for us to tackle breastfeeding, which was really important to me at the time. Everyone has their own path, but it was really important to me then. And it sucked that we couldn't tackle it because I had to go to work. It was unhealthy for me because, by the way, I had a C-section. So I had just had major surgery just a few weeks earlier. And instead of getting any rest whatsoever, I, by the way, am a single mom. So newborn, taking care of him virtually by myself after having major surgery. Then I have to go to work. So now I'm in a cycle of working a 9 to 5 and then coming home again by myself, taking care of this amazing child who was exhausting me to my breaking point. Like, whoa, just whoa. So I do want to acknowledge that at least I had my parents to watch him. I know there are some women who don't even have that option. I can't even imagine leaving my son with strangers. But it was hard. It was extremely difficult because it was so unnatural. It felt like the most unnatural thing I could possibly be doing in that moment of having a newborn. It violated every single instinct that I had at a very critical time. But you know what else it did? It pushed me. It pushed me because every single drive with tears rolling down my face was also giving me massive amounts of determination. I just had to figure out a way to gain my independence and to have control over my schedule and to be able to do the thing that was literally the most important part of my life. To be that kid's mom every day, to love on him, to snuggle him, to feed him, to read to him, to play with him, to just nurture him and be with him. And yeah, to actually recover myself as well. Hello, C-section. I mean, birth already is traumatic, but I had a major surgery on top of it. It was just awful. I mean, I just never had time to rest. Ugh, it was terrible. So that was my moment. That first drive was when I decided I was going to figure it out. I had to figure my way out of the box. I needed to, shall I say, curve my way out of that cube. That may be a little hint as to where the story went afterwards, which I'm sure will come out over the course of this show. The how of me gaining my independence, that critical how part of the story. Now you know the why. But what Michelle said, that she was at a fork in the road looking back at her baby, I felt that. Did you feel it too? Thanks for joining in today. I hope that my conversation with Michelle helped to inspire and inform you on your own Power Mom path. Be sure to head to PowerMomsNetwork.com to join our mailing list, connect with other Power Moms, and parlay your own superpowers into success. Connect with me and the team at Power Moms by emailing powermoms@flintstonemedia.com, and be sure to join us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You can find us on all three at Power Moms Unite. And if you want to work with me on your own podcast, whether to launch it or to level it up, you can go to toppodcastworkshop.com, get all the information on working with me live in a small group setting. It is producer Jaime signing off for now. Remember, you are a power mom. So let's parlay your parenthood superpowers into success.